Hi, so tonight's class, this is kind of take two because there was a bit of a technical hitch. So tonight's class was all about Barridas and using Barridas to turn. If you remember last week we did an inline one, and you're going to need to move out of the way there a little bit. So we something like that, and with generally fewer dogs. Have a look at last week's video for that one to revise that one, because we just touched on that again just to remind people what it was like. So today we looked at three different variations of how to use Barridas as turns. We started off going into a basic cross, and then lead forward and block, and we block with the foot as well. Lead back, lead forward, lead back, lead forward. So there's a couple of little things you need to know here. First of all, it's always led by the chest. It's not led by the toe. It wouldn't matter if you go into the cross for a second. Yeah, it doesn't matter whether I'm waving my foot around or not. It's always the chest connection and that chest lead, that little bit of energy that's sending her backwards and forwards. The foot is just following. Secondly, followers, you will feel, leaders first of all, try and, when you're doing one of these Barridas, lift the heel a little bit and roll the foot in, so that your top of your foot is kind of contacting with the top of hers. It'll give her a bit more of a clue that it's something different to just a normal block, which she might just step over. Yeah, because with it high like that, it's a bit harder to do. So keep the heel high so that she feels that there's something a little bit different going on there, that it's not just the same as one of those flat sort of blocks which you might just step over. It's something that she's definitely going to feel and hook into, so she knows that it's likely to be one of those. Leaders, make sure there's no weight on it, otherwise she'll fall straight over it. So make sure it does go with her. And both of you keep a little bit of pressure on there. It's not a push, but it's just enough just to keep the contact, just to make it look right. Okay, so then we took that. Oh yeah, that's it. Yes, and whilst we're doing that, make sure that my knee is on the outside. The leader's knee should be on the outside. It's not there because that really doesn't work. It's weird. So knee there, and then we've got this nice connection. So we're definitely in two separate tracks. Okay, so then we added block, centre back to centre, pivot, and go with her. Look at that again. Block, back to centre, pivot, go with her. Yeah? Come around here. Make sure that they're all in three distinct chunks, so that you've got the lead back with the Barrida, the pivot, and then the step to the side, or step back for her. But when you blend it all together, you just start in the cross, so we can go from there. So, block, centre back. It now looks like I've just flicked her round, but all of that lead is coming from the chest connection. I've just got to be a bit quick with the foot to keep up with her foot. I'm not kicking her foot out of the way, I'm just keeping up with her foot. And I get that from that little bit of pressure. Okay, then we looked at two different variations of this one. Fairly classic. Back step, step across, turn, turn, turn. Followers, it's basically you start off with a back ocho, leading down a little bit. That keeps the leg projected. Followers, all the weight goes back onto the right leg. Leaders, all my weight is on my left leg. I've projected and blocked. Again, I'm going to try and roll that foot up a little bit so that there's a good contact there. I then transfer the weight onto my right, step across, and then turn with the chest to lead her round. So as I'm stepping across, I need to keep the contact with the chest, so I'm not kind of dragging her around with me, because if I just kind of go like that, she might turn on her own, yeah, before I get there. Whereas if I keep the connection and then turn with the chest, yeah, I'm still leading her around. So even from there, yeah, so that will actually create that turn. Okay, last variation. Side step, turn. Back, exactly as before. Step across, send her round. Step next to her foot, or in line with the foot. Put my foot the other side, turn with the chest, and pivot her back the other way. So again, it just looks like I've just flicked her back around. I haven't, it all comes from the chest lead. Followers, make sure you keep your axis on that. So as you're turning, what we don't want is, so as you step back at the last bit, so as you finish the turn at the last bit, don't step back or don't tilt here or do anything at this point. So we don't want auto-complete, we don't want off-axis, or we don't want anything rocking away. So we want to keep nicely centered. So followers, make sure you're nicely balanced on your right leg, which means leaders, you can't rely on her for balance. So I'm balanced on my left leg, I transfer the weight, I step, I'm on my right leg, on my left leg. Then I pivot and I flick. I'm still on that leg. I'm not transferring to there, because if I do, I'll pull her over. So make sure it's all nice and clear. Yeah, and it's led from the chest. I think we got there. Second time lucky.